Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to be looking at a really simple, but honestly pretty profound story about a boy named Leo. Now, on the surface, it features a boy with messy brown hair and a bright blue backpack. But if you look closely, his story actually serves as an absolute masterclass in foundational learning. It's a true blueprint. We're going to explore how early childhood education isn't just about, passively absorbing facts. It's about building this incredible framework of curiosity, discipline, and most importantly, joy.
So, here is our class schedule for today. We're going to start by building a strong foundation, then explore art, science, and nature, discuss the power of perseverance, check out music and healthy habits, and finally, look at the Golden Star Reward.
Starting off with Section 1, building a strong foundation through morning routines and core academics. Because as we'll see, academic success actually starts the very moment you wake up.
Leo's day kicks off with a highly structured yet super joyful morning routine. I want you to really picture the sounds of a good morning. There's a big, loud yawn for a huge morning stretch. Then brushing those teeth until they literally sparkle, followed by the crunch, crunch, yum of cereal and bananas to fuel the brain. And it all wraps up with a tiptoe, tap-toe march right out the front door. This kind of predictability totally primes his mind, so by the time he arrives at school, he is completely ready to learn.
Now, what's really interesting here is how this routine captures the pure enthusiasm of early literacy. When Miss Lily introduces the letter A and phonics park, Leo doesn't just sit back and watch. No way! He enthusiastically shoots his hand straight up into the air like a tall tree to define the A sound, like an apple, ant, and alligator. He traces the letters, he sounds out the words, and most importantly, he is actively participating in the very building blocks of reading.
And that active engagement, it translates perfectly into Mathland. For Leo, numbers aren't some intimidating chore, they're basically a fun brain puzzle. To wrap his head around addition, he lines up his colorful blocks on the big wooden tables, carefully counting out exactly 5 red blocks and adding 5 blue blocks to arrive at a perfect 10. He even playfully counts backward from 10 to blast off like a rocket with his friend Mia. It's totally hands-on, super engaging, and highly effective.
So what happens when you combine that level of enthusiasm with neat handwriting and genuinely kind helpfulness to your classmates? Well, you get serious results. Leo doesn't just know the answers, he helps his peers sound out tricky words with a kind smile. When those graded papers come back, Miss Lily places a massive 100 and a bright star right at the top of Leo's paper. It's a direct, joyful result of his focused effort, making him do a happy little wiggle in his seat.
Moving on to Section 2, Art, Science, and Nature, Discovery Through Hard Work. This is where creative curiosity meets the scientific method head-on.
When they start mixing primary and secondary colors at the art table, Leo discovers that dipping a brush in yellow paint and then mixing it with blue actually creates green. But here's the key takeaway for us. Leo didn't use magic to learn this. Actually, scratch that, it might look like magic, but he used his smart brain, his curious eyes, and sheer hard work to discover that yellow and blue make green, just like the grass outside. He actively labels his chart, locking that concept right into his mind.
Taking that curiosity from the art table out into the natural world, I want to ask you, what does a tiny seed actually need to grow? Well, Leo knows the exact diligent steps. It absolutely needs rich soil, it needs to be placed right by the window for warm, golden sunlight, and it needs cool water every single day. By strictly adhering to this daily care routine, Leo ensures that a tiny green bean sprout finally pokes its little head right out of the dirt.
And this brilliantly illustrates how daily, focused care translates right back into academic success. His diligent observation of the roots, stems, leaves, and flowers in animal science and nature earns Leo yet another proud 100 on his quiz. It is a perfect example of consistent effort compounding over time into a flawless score.
Section 3 is all about the power of perseverance, learning beyond the classroom. Because when that recess bell rings, the learning definitely doesn't stop. It just moves outside.
Out on the playground, Leo sees his friend Noah, who is feeling pretty sad and frustrated because he keeps falling off the monkey bars. Now, instead of just watching him struggle, Leo steps right in. He breaks down a physically difficult challenge into entirely manageable steps for his friend. Hold on tight to the first bar, use your arm muscles, and swing to the next. By taking it slow and steady, first bar, second bar, third bar, Noah finally makes it all the way across.
So the crucial point here is that hard work makes us stronger. Learning isn't just about pencils and paper, it's about resilience, right? It's about not giving up, even when your hands get tired. Leo taught Noah this powerful lesson of perseverance. And their reward? Spending the rest of recess building an absolutely giant sandcastle with a moat and tall towers.
Let's shift to Section 4, Music and Healthy Habits, Body and Mind. As we move into the afternoon schedule, we see how a sharp mind absolutely requires a well-cared-for body.
Over in Mr. Davis's class, the room is just filled with rhythm. Clack, 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 clack. Leo's musical mastery comes from listening very carefully with his ears to the beats and then repeating them perfectly on his wooden rhythm sticks. He sings the whole scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. But crucially, his success comes from treating notes like a secret code he has to crack and making sure to practice his singing every single day at home with his mom.
Next up is Miss Lily's health lesson, detailing exactly how to fuel that growing brain. Leo totally gets the why behind these healthy habits, like why eat fruits and vegetables? Because they give us the vitamins and energy to run, jump, think, and play all day long. Washing hands with warm soap and water, scrubbing teeth twice a day, and going to bed early, these aren't just annoying chores for him. They are essential routines that literally let his brain rest and grow.
And by mastering his health habits and decoding his musical notes perfectly, what do you think the result is? Yep, Leo secures yet another fantastic 100 on his tests. He correctly names all the musical symbols and completely aces his questions on playground safety and healthy foods, leaving him smiling from ear to ear.
Which brings us to Section 5, the Golden Star Reward, celebrating dedication. We've reached the emotional climax of our explainer. It's the very end of the school week, and the whole class is gathered quietly on that colorful classroom carpet for a special announcement.
Miss Lily stands up front, her eyes sparkling with pride. She highlights a student who practiced their skills, helped their friends, and never, ever gave up when things got tricky. She awards Leo a shiny gold star trophy for getting a perfect 100 score in every single subject. This perfect week wasn't achieved by magic tricks. It was achieved through his own listening ears, his heavily focused mind, and some truly joyful hard work. The whole class erupts. Clap, 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 hooray!
Let's move to and see how this builds into a really beautiful final lesson. Walking home under the golden afternoon sun, Leo proudly shows his folder to his mother. She gives him a big, tight hug and delivers this brilliant insight. You showed that practicing every day and trying your best brings wonderful results. It perfectly reinforces that the shiny trophy isn't the real prize here. The daily practice and the effort, the whole shebang, is what truly matters.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer today. Leo places his shiny gold trophy up on his bookshelf, entirely ready for a wonderful night's sleep, dreaming about the next day. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Applying Leo's blueprint of hard work, daily practice, and unquenchable curiosity to your own life, what will you learn tomorrow? Keep exploring, keep putting in that joyful hard work, and we will catch you next time.